Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Alton West. Today I have a guest on from the Hillside community talking about happenings going on there. And also I'll have a guest on from the Emmaus Women's Shelter. So stay tuned for those interviews coming up in just a moment.
Just what you're looking for. You'll find it in one of the 28 shops in downtown LaGrange. Remember old school customer service? It's still here. Not to mention that perfect gift. That's the beauty of downtown LaGrange. So come on down.
Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm sitting down with individuals from the Hillside area. I'm sitting down with the community organizer, Ben Wheeler, and also a business owner in the area, Maggie McDonald. Welcome both of you all to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Well, it's a pleasure to have both of you all on the show today. Ben, you and I have had the opportunity to sit down on a couple of occasions to talk about some things going on. And I think, Maggie, for you, this is a first, so I'm very interested in hearing what you have to say about your business being there in the Hillside area. But before we get to that, Ben, if you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about the Hillside area, if you don't mind.
Certainly. Yeah, it's great to see you again, Alton. It's great to be on here again.
Well, thank you.
In the morning. Of course, Dash started in 2002 and focused primarily in the neighborhood of Hillside. And since then, we have done multiple redevelopment projects there within the community by redeveloping homes. But primarily my focus is the neighborhood itself and the residents that live in the community. We do this through an array of different projects and different events. One of those primarily being our neighborhood connector meeting that meets on a monthly basis with different residents in the area. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I've been challenging our residents to do is to develop plans. The last 6 months or so we've been developing different plans on, these are all neighborhood-based plans on events in the neighborhood, beautification in the neighborhood, lighting, and also parks are just some of the interest in some of the desires. Because we try to create a balance between what are the needs, but also what are the assets. What are those resources that already exist in the neighborhood? And so we've been doing that. We have some neighbors that are really eager and trying to work with the city on some beautification things right now as we speak. And so we're trying to schedule some meetings and stuff like that with them. So
very good.
Yeah.
And you're talking about beautification. Hopefully we're getting ready to enter into the weather that will allow things to start blooming and making the city more beautiful as we move into the warmer weather. Well, Maggie, you're a business owner in the Hillside area.
I am.
Talk a little bit about that, and don't talk about your business just yet, but just talk about being a business owner in the Hillside area, if you don't mind.
Well, I've been there for a little over 5 years, and I love it there. I've never had a problem. I was told by a few people that's not where I wanted to put a business, and in my heart it told me I wanted to be there, and so that's what I did.
Okay, well, very good. Mm-hmm. And we're going to find out what your business is and where you're located in just a moment. Okay. And Ben, you were talking about some, beautification projects and lighting and park issues, and as you talked about those things, there are other things that are going on in our city that also that are being done. But you all have something a little bit more unique to your area in the markets, the farmers market. I know particularly you all have an off-season market now, right? Exactly.
Yeah, we are the proud one of the few in the state of Georgia. I think there's collectively probably less than 10 off-season markets in the entire state, primarily those being centered in Atlanta. And so this is a farmer's market with produce that you would find, like your kale, your greens, your rutabagas, some things like that, but also some plants. This is actually an incredible time to actually plant for the upcoming spring season. Mm-hmm. We have a master gardener that comes out every Saturday, and Sharon does an incredible job. I think that's one of the great things about the market is had that awesome opportunity to speak with people who grow all year long, who are in our community, who understand what needs to be grown, how it should be grown, how things, what is indigenous to our area, what is also drought tolerant for our area. When we have, I know right now we've been blessed with a lot of water, but there's times when we don't, and and so there's things like that. We also have a lot of interesting entrepreneurs. We have folks that do candles. breads, soaps, and an array of just like specialty soaps for both men and women. We have a young mom who does baby bibs and scarves and stationery. So we have an array of different items every Saturday. I call it one of LaGrange's best kept secrets on the weekend. I think just that Friday to Saturday, between what's happening on Friday night with Maggie and what's happening on Saturday morning with the market, there's plenty of opportunities right within our community that is making our community a better place, not only in Hillside, but also in LaGrange and also throughout Troup County. And so yeah, it's a fun place to come out, and it's indoors, by the way. I think a lot of people, I think that's one of our first hurdles, was that we're like, it's actually indoors.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Well, very good.
Yeah.
Ben, you alluded to Friday nights, and I know that's where Maggie comes in.
Yeah.
And Maggie, I understand that you have a lot of energy going on there in the Hillside area on those Friday nights. Talk a little bit about your business and what's taking place there.
Well, we just, I had a friend of mine, she said, I want to start music. I said, great, I'll support you on that. And so we started doing it, and slowly I started kind of taking over, getting a little more involved. But we were at Hillside area, and we were kind of growing out of it, and some things happened, and we decided to move it down the street to Pure Life Fitness, which is where I have been doing fitness the last 5 years. And so every Friday we just get a gathering of friends together, and we play music on Friday night. And I have a dear friend in Barry Waldrop, and he has stepped to the plate, loves the idea. It's a listening room, so when you come in to listen, you are to be quiet and respectful. And it's singer-songwriter, so it's mostly original music. And like I said, Barry Waldrop's helped pull in some great musicians. They're opening acts for Zach Brown, for Phil Phillips, for Marshall Tucker Band, Sheryl Crow. I mean, we've got people that open for them and come in and sing in our little community. So it's been pretty amazing. On the off nights, the nights that we don't have what's called a featured guest, we just have locals from the area, locally grown people that come in and play their music, and it's just been amazing. The community's been great, and the artists have been incredible, and I just...
Now, when you say play their music,
Yeah.
do they have these individuals come together to play something together, or is it just individuals?
Well, it's interesting what's happening. Some people, I just mentioned, do you play an instrument? Yeah, I play an instrument, I play a little bit. Well, why don't you come out and play Friday night? Okay. And they'll tell a friend, and they'll come out, and we've never played together, and they'll play something. And so people are starting to get together, and they're liking it, so they're exchanging numbers and asking each other, hey, we want to come play let's play together sometime. It's really neat.
Now, Ben, how does that fit into what you're doing in the community and bringing together the community, the music there? Because I know some people may like gardening, some people may like beautification, and there may be some people that may be more into music. So how does that fit into the Hillside area?
Yeah, I think the best part about this is that, number one, when initially Dash was hosting the event. And Dash we're not known for hosting music events. And we're not known for, we're known for building houses and, working with neighbors on other things like that. And so when Maggie came in and stepped up to the plate and just has knocked it out of the park in regards to this, she came in and she really has brought in this kind of energy that, that you can't replicate. You can't replicate the kind of energy and the time and the effort that she has brought in. And I want to also say, as a part of actually attending some of the initial ones, it's really fun because these musicians, they start playing, and somebody from the audience will start just playing along, and all of a sudden it's like it becomes this really communal, very collective, kind of experience of somebody's, just started to play, and all of a sudden there's a guy playing the harmonica, and the next guy's playing his little drum off to the side. So it's a really fun opportunity. And I think it does another thing too. It brings neighbors together. I feel like, across our community, we need a better sense of building our social capital, that bringing those people together. And so Maggie's doing a great job, not only inviting neighbors from Hillside, but also inviting people from outside the neighborhood to the neighborhood, and they're seeing the Hillside for the first time. They probably haven't seen it before. They've just simply driven through, and they're just like, oh yeah, this is where that happened. But now they get to say, oh, this is a fun place to live. Oh, this is where this person lives, and things like that. And so it becomes this real friendly kind of collective kind of place. And so it's been a lot of fun. It's been great working with Maggie and things like this. So
Very good.
yeah.
So Maggie, it kind of started out small. It's grown.
It has grown.
How many musicians do you have come out on any given night?
Well, again, when we don't have a featured guest night, we have about 4 to 5 musicians performing, and they just get up. I have this little stage. It was my yoga stage. It's now been transformed into a artist stage, and they just get up and perform some songs. They come down, and somebody else will come up. Anywhere from 3 to 5 songs, and then afterwards, people just to hang out and exchange numbers and music and ideas, and so it's been a lot of fun. But I have to say, as far as the energy, there's something for me from the very beginning when we bought the building that was really special to me down there. And not everybody sees it, but I've had several people want me to come downtown, and it's just not where I want to be. I don't feel it, and as Ben was saying, you cannot replicate what's going on down there. You just can't. Yeah, it's exciting.
So what's next for Pure Life Studios? Is the name of your business
Yes.
there, right? Pure Life Studios. What's next for Pure Life Studios and the Hillside community? Do you see it growing, getting larger? What do you expect?
I'm not going to predict anything. What I'm going to tell you is it's growing very organically, and I like the speed it's going. Some people build your website. What about this? What about that? If you're not on Facebook, you may not hear about it. You've got to keep your ears open. It's about talking to each other. It's not, the social network has been great, but it's more about community involvement and people talking to each other and getting the word out. I'm not in a big hurry to go completely crazy that way because it's big right now, but we do plan on trying to get a festival or something.
Yeah, we're planning on looking at doing a big neighborhood festival and things like that. And I think you're right. I think it is a very organic kind of thing, and we say that, and people might say, oh, that's kind of iffy, but really what's been the cool thing is that when people, neighbors see something happen at Pure Life, or they see something happen at the market, it's almost like you can feed off of that positive energy. And neighbors start saying, hey, you know what, I like to do that. I would like to do that. And I think of one particular neighbor. She has always crocheted, and so she was just she stepped into it, and she's really become a part of it. Another neighbor, he has a wealth of pecans in his backyard, and so he comes out every Saturday and sells his pecans, and it's
it's things that have always been there, that have always been there for people, and so I think the difference when I say growing naturally is I'm not going out and trying to make a business and trying to make money. For the first time in my life, I'm doing exactly what I love, and people are going, I want to do what I love, and they're doing what they love. Exactly. And people are saying, I could use that, I enjoy that, and that's what's happening in that community. Nobody's going out to make $1 million and have this $1 million idea. People are just sharing what they have and getting out of their house. And it's amazing.
Very good. Sounds like a lot of energy, a lot of great things going on in the Hillside. So I thank both of you all for coming on the show today and sharing that. We look very forward to that festival coming, and maybe you have to come out to Pure Life Studios one night and hear some of the musicians. So thank you both for being on the show today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're back for more City Week in just a moment. Welcome back to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Now I am sitting down with the director of the Emmaus Women's Shelter, Jessica David. Jessica, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, LaGrange.
Well, thank you for being on the show, and I must say, it's always a pleasure to sit down with you because you're always such a ball of energy. So, Jessica, thank you very much. As we get ready to talk about something that I think the whole community can help out with, I just want you to tell us a little bit of history about the Emmaus Women's Shelter, if you don't mind.
Well, Emmaus Women's Shelter began in late 2008 and early 2009 with just a day center that occupied the space of an adult daycare. And it was a place to be a resource center for people challenged by homelessness, primarily women. And within months, we started an emergency shelter to house them overnight and began a longer-term transitional program.
Okay. Now, when we talk about women's shelter and homelessness and people, most of us, we go throughout our daily occupations, we never really kind of give any thought to it. But define what you all, and I shouldn't say you all, but define homelessness for us, if you don't mind, so that we have a true understanding of what constitutes homelessness.
Well, being in Troup County, we're at a crossroads of almost urban but still rural. And rural homelessness is very invisible compared to what we see when we go to a larger city like Atlanta or Charleston or Charlotte or a place like that. And here in LaGrange, we follow the Troup County school system model definition of who is homeless. Those people can be sheltered, they can be unsheltered, they can be in a transitional center like a group home or jail without a place to be released to. But they can also be what we refer to as precariously housed. And that means they go from house to house, relative to relative, hotel to camper to the back seat of a car. Recently, we found out that there were over 160 children considered precariously housed in our school system. And every time I hear that number, I feel confident in saying that you could assume there are at least 3 more people in that family who are not consistently housed and do not have a permanent address.
Oh my, 160 children.
Children in our school system.
Just children in our school system. Being either one of those things, unsheltered, sheltered, transitionally, or precariously sheltered. And meaning that they just kind of move, as you stated, from one place to another, right?
It's more like being a shadow person, the concept of invisibility. But they are homeless because they don't have a permanent address.
A permanent address.
That's one of the things we offer people is a forever identity by sharing our address so that regardless of how often they have to move or can't find better stability based on income or physical limitations, they can always come back to Emmaus and check their mail.
And check the mail.
That has everything to do with being able to get an ID, birth certificate, get a job,
That's right.
receive a paycheck.
That's right. And I want to ask a question too, Jessica. This is very good. I know you came before the mayor and council and gave a report a couple of months ago, and it was just eye-opening, to me, because again, I think most of us, we kind of go about our daily routines, and we never really give any thought to there are people right here in our community, in our society, that meet those definitions of homelessness. How does Emmaus Women's Shelter assist a family when they come to you all?
Well, we operate our day center, which is at 321 Greenville Street, and we have a little sign out front that says Emma's Attic. It's like the code sign for turn here. And that's the name of our thrift store project that everybody works in and helps raise money. But a family can come in and, first of all, we offer them food, meal to calm down. We offer a shower, a place, clean clothes. We offer the family a way to relax, and attention can be given to children and the father and the mother. Sometimes there's 2 parents available, sometimes there's only a father, sometimes there's only a mother, and it's been known to be a grandmother. We've had more than one generation sometime. But we listen to their skills, we listen to their needs, we find out if it's a lack of gasoline to keep on going down the road, and we refer them to partners, or we find out that they haven't been able to get on a computer to finish the job application. And my greatest story that had to do with a family was we literally had the daddy employed within like 30 minutes of walking in the door.
Oh my.
And so they were rehoused in under 2 weeks. And they were from out of town, attracted to this land of opportunity, and they just needed somebody to help them get on a computer, have a place to calm down and get warm and dry, so that they could take the next steps. And anybody is welcome to come to our day center and use that kind of service.
Okay, very good. You brought me to another question. You said out of town. Do we see a lot of the homelessness being people that are concentrated here in our county, or are they mainly kind of passing through? What are you finding the most?
Well, I am seeing a rise in the number of homeless people that we're serving because of the new influx of people coming to LaGrange. the people coming are not necessarily homeless, but the competition for housing and jobs is now greater for our residents as opposed to the people coming in from out of town. We do see the need for traveler's aid. The library is overwhelmed by people at the end of the road and off the last tank of gas who are now homeless in LaGrange because they didn't get the job they thought was waiting for them. And so that has created an increase in demand for everybody's services across LaGrange.
That's right.
Everybody has an increased need to serve, and we definitely have a lot of promotional advertising going on nationwide, attracting people to LaGrange. Our hotels are more full. That means our shelters are more full. Our schools are filling up. And that's good for the economy, but it also means it brings all of the other issues.
That's right, absolutely. Now, you and I were talking before we came on the air, Jessica, you was telling me that at any given time here in Troup County, that there could possibly be as many as 900 people homeless.
That's because we follow all four of those definitions. We did a population count back in 2012 because we volunteered to collect the information for the Department of Community Affairs. And it was referred to as a point-in-time count based on one night of the year. We recently repeated that based on January 26th of 2015. When we did that, we count who's at the jail that will be released with no place to go. We count the children in the schools. We count the sheltered, the transitional homes, and the group homes, and the unsheltered people that we can find. We found that many. I have been told that I haven't found everyone yet. But I made a concerted effort this year as I pursued more of a street outreach to do the point-in-time count, and really began, as some people referred to me as the bushwhacker, all of January, really looking for people in places that they were hiding if they were unsheltered. And I physically shook hands with over 25 people who were just hiding on the street, whether they were under a bridge, by a creek, in a tent, or sleeping from porch to tent to street to bridge. And so our numbers right now are already at the 900 mark and then growing.
Oh my, since January. Absolutely.
But that's all those definitions. They might be at your house today, they might be at a hotel next week. That's the instability.
Right. Okay.
And those people are homeless too.
Now you was talking about, I was going to ask the question, but you alluded to it there, where you're finding some of the individuals under bridges, on porches, back seats of the cars and things of that nature. When they come to you, do they kind of give you some indication of reasoning why they became homeless? Was it loss of job, or family put them out? What are you seeing as the main reasons?
Well, given the disparity of income in LaGrange, with the concentration of poverty that we have versus the prosperity, poor people have trouble taking care of poor people. And there's a lot of, we can only take care of our own. I'm sorry, I can't take care of my extended family anymore. And so sometimes the aunt is pushed out, sometimes the grandmother is pushed out, sometimes that extra sister and her children are now a burden for the household. Or so much of our affordable housing here has occupancy limitations where you can't have too many people in one home, especially the federally funded housing. And so poverty poor people have a hard time taking care of the other poor people in their group. And then we also see people lose their homes because they lose their jobs. Anybody's 45 days from homelessness, if they lose their job or their car breaks down and they lose their job, if they get sick, any number of us would fail to pay our rent or make our house note. And if you can't call on a resource to bail you out, as many people don't have anybody to call on, what do you do next? You either move into the hotel and then run out of money and you end up at a shelter.
That's right.
And when people go to jail, we see a lot of families suffer that way. But illnesses, physical disabilities cause a lot of homelessness. And without the actual disability that a lot of people receive, we would have an unbelievable number of people that were homeless.
Absolutely. What could the community do, Jessica, to help assist Emmaus House and the other shelters around in our community? What can the community do to help you to address this issue and to help these individuals that need this assistance? What can we do?
Well, I remind everyone to please pray and to give and to shop. We invite you to come alongside us at Emmaus Women's Shelter at 321 Greenville Street and volunteer. We invite you to come to what we call Emma's Attic and go shopping and help stretch the resources. And we have a lot of high-end fashion there, and I call it my ode to Mansour's because we have such fine selection of clothing, because so many people try to support us with the gifting of material goods. And then right now we're facing another cold front, and we need volunteers who are willing to operate the warming center with us that the Troup County Homeless Coalition started, that we're now managing, and we need meals for that every night for supper. We need more toilet paper, more paper products, and more utensils and plastic bowls. That's universal. Cleaning products. Everybody, we want to give a shower. They need more soap. And then we need overnight volunteers, like third shift people who could work at a shelter and basically supervise. And we invite everybody to go to the Troup County Homeless Coalition website if they want to, on their Facebook page, and sign up to volunteer, but also refer to us at jessica@emmausshelter.com or jessica@emmausshelter on Facebook. And then Emmaus Women's Shelter has pages too. And so we invite you to engage with us socially and in person.
Well, Jessica, you definitely said, as I stated the other night when you came to the Mayor and Council, opened my eyes to some things that, we see things, but we don't give it a lot of attention. So thank you very much for being on the show today. And we just hope that the community will come out and help Jessica to reach the needs and meet the needs of the individuals here in our community. Jessica, thank you very much for being on the show today.
Well, thank you. And I'd like to thank everybody that participates. I'm just the voice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll be back for more City Week in just a moment.
Just what you're hungry for. It's in downtown LaGrange. You have 17 restaurants to choose from, and each has its own personality, from chef-driven establishments to life on the casual side. Celebrate, create traditions, make new friends, discover new tastes. Downtown LaGrange is simply delicious. So come on down.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining City Week this week. My guests have been from the Hillside community, the community organizer, Ben Wheeler, along with Maggie McDonald, as they talked about some of the upcoming things and events happening in the Hillside area, and also the things that are happening at Pure Life Studios. So by all means, make sure you go out and see what's happening and be a part of the Hillside community and things that are happening. Also, ladies, I had on from the Emmaus Women's Shelter, the director, Jessica Davis, and she talked about the homelessness and the things that we can do as a community to help her, along with the Emmaus Women's Shelter, to combat homelessness. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed these interviews, and as always, I want to invite you back for more of City Week.
This is Bobby McCullough with the City of LaGrange Garage. I'm here to give you another winter car care tip for your vehicle. Now, one thing you do need to check through the winter is your antifreeze. Your antifreeze keeps your vehicle from freezing during the winter. It's supposed to have a proper 50-50 mix between antifreeze and water. Very easy way to check it. One thing you need to look at is your coolant level to see how much antifreeze you have in the vehicle. Now, it's going to have a maximum or minimum level on your reservoir, and it's going to tell you how much you need to put in it. Another thing you need to check is the actual freezing point of your antifreeze. And you can do that with a simple tester you can get at any parts store. All you do is take the cap off of your radiator reservoir. On this model vehicle we have a reservoir. Stick it down in and squeeze up your antifreeze into the tester. There will be a needle showing where your antifreeze test level is, and on this vehicle it's good to negative 45 degrees. Now, you need to have it up to about 0 degrees. You don't want it to be any higher than 0. If it's anything above 0, you need to flush out and refill your radiator with the proper level and type of antifreeze, and you can check your owner's manual for that. This is just another simple car care tip from the City of LaGrange. These are just general care tips for your vehicle. Please refer to your owner's manual for any vehicle specifications.